Thank you, Alan. Prior to 1995, unless you were involved in the industry or a fan of Tejano music, few were familiar with the name Abraham Quintanilla. It wasn't until the tragic day, March 31st of that year, that the father of Selena was thrust into the spotlight. From that day on, he's been the target of every possible human emotion one can conjure. He's been called greedy, criticized, accused of capitalizing on his daughter's death. But he's also a great businessman and widely credited with his family's success. All that now addressed in a book Abraham Quintanilla recently released. I sat down with him for his first televised interview since the book hit the market. In this candid interview, Mr. Q openly addresses all.
I had been wanting to write a book ever since my daughter was killed, Selena.
We sat down in the Q Production studios to talk about Abraham Quintanilla's new book titled A Father's Dream, My Family's Journey in Music.
I didn't want to do it at the time because I thought that maybe people would right away jump to the conclusion that I'm just trying to make money off of her. So time went by, and then, of course, time waits for nobody.
With the years flying by, Mr. Q decided to put pencil to paper and get his thoughts, ideas, and memories in order to take that next step.
Life is not a secure thing. You're here today, you're gone tomorrow.
Tell me about your ghostwriter.
I got together with Nancy de los Santos.
Nancy de los Santos was an associate producer in the production of the Selena movie, handpicked by Quintanilla because of her writing and organizational skills.
She would fly in from Los Angeles and spend 2-3 days here in my office with a microphone. And I start telling the story. And she would record everything and then go back home to Los Angeles and put it in.
The memoir begins with Quintanilla's life when he was in his early 20s, reflecting on things most folks who followed the Selena legacy may not be aware of.
How I wound up in the Army, and while in the Army, stationed in Washington State, I met my wife, and we've been married 58 years. And so I talk about that, about how each one of my children were born, starting with Abby, who was the oldest, and then Suzette, and then finally Selena.
Then Abraham shared something out of the book that will probably come as a total surprise, even to the most loyal Selena fan.
If you read the book, you'll find out that Selena was delivered by a doctor, a gynecologist who ran for president of the United States of America, Dr. Ron Paul.
Wow.
He delivered Selena.
True to the title of the book, Abraham says it's about family, going into detail about his wife and each of his children, but also about growing up in Corpus Christi.
I was a teenager in the 50s, and Corpus Christi was a very segregated city. In fact, downtown Corpus Christi, they had restrooms for blacks and restrooms for whites, or water fountains, you know. And they didn't have anything for brown people like us.
That segregation made it difficult for Abraham and the Dinos of the 1950s.
You know, we had a dream, because we used to sing in English. The Mexicans at that time, or Mexican Americans, rejected us because we sang in English. And the Anglos rejected us because we were Mexicans. And so that was the dream that we had, that we were good enough to go mainstream. It was a dream that we could make it into mainstream market in America. Not understanding that at that particular time in the 50s, that was impossible.
Abraham quit the Dinos and eventually gave up on his dream for a few years.
that dream that I had, eventually, it became the dream of my children.
And tomorrow night, we're going to hear more from Abraham Quintanilla about his challenges, the highs and lows, the eventual breakthrough of success that would lead to mega stardom. But along with the stardom, the ugliness of envy and allegations of greed. Leslie?
All right, Rudy, thank you so much. Looking forward to that report tomorrow.